Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk about MSNBC and Elon Musk joking, I'm using air quotes here, that he might buy MSNBC and put Joe Rogan on it. That would be freaking hysterical. And before you guys say that he couldn't do it or he wouldn't do it, he made the joke about buying Twitter before he bought it. And then he wound up buying it. Now, do I really, truly think he would buy MSNBC? I don't really see a reason for it other than, I mean, that is a, that's a lot of money to troll, right? And Twitter, he way overpaid for it. And I don't know if he would want to do it because honestly, he could just have his own, X news network or something. But it's an interesting idea, and this is quite the dilemma, right? Because Comcast, NBC Universal, is spinning off all their cable channels, and they don't really see value in MSNBC anymore. And I mean, it's very easy to see why they don't. Viewership has dropped off a cliff since the election, especially. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I guess it's not cool to be super far left anymore because more than half the country not only put Trump back in office, but they also flipped the House and the Senate, right, to red." So, it's things are changing, is what I'm saying. This feels like the 80s all over again. Like everybody just got tired of back then the hippie bullshit, I think, and we just flipped the switch, and now it's the Reagan era, complete with the threat of nuclear war too, by the way. So anyway, I should be laughing about that. That is nervous laughter. So let's talk about all this. Before we get into any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to Clownfish Minus. You can check out our merch. We got some new merch in here. We got some more merch coming, including some Bubbly Steves. Check out the community. We've got some videos and podcasts you will not find anywhere else. And we're also mirroring that content on locals.com, clownfishtv.locals.com. So let's see. This is coming from the Hindustan Times. Apparently they've been around for a while. 100 years, is that what they said? Joe Rogan eyes this job as Elon Musk hints at buying MSNBC. Tesla CEO says, how amazing would this be? Maybe he is serious. I don't know. He was making a joke about buying Twitter, and then he wound up buying Twitter. So who knows? Rogan has expressed his views after ex-owner Elon Musk hinted at a possible purchase of Microsoft MSNBC. So it'd be MSX or just X News Network. Maybe it's X News. I don't know. Joe Rogan has expressed his views after Elon Musk hinted at a possible purchase of MSNBC. The whole saga started when Donald Trump Jr. encouraged the SpaceX CEO to buy MSNBC after it was revealed that Comcast, the parent company of NBC Universal, was selling the network. How much does it cost? I mean, it can't be much. Look at the ratings. Yeah, the ratings are terrible. And here's what Joe Rogan had to say. He said, as their conversation went viral, the post drew the attention of veteran UFC analyst Rogan, who made a joke about hoping to play Rachel Maddow, a leftist political analyst who runs a weekly show? I thought it was nightly, on MSNBC. As a point of comparison, Maddow is a liberal political analyst who reportedly makes an estimated $25 million annually. And I think that's actually on the low end. I heard it was closer to 50, but who knows? While declaring that he would gladly take Maddow's job, Rogan said he would dress similarly and spew the lies he said she was promoting. If you buy MSNBC, I would like Rachel Maddow's job. I will wear the same outfit and glasses, and I will tell the same lies. Yeah. Buy The View. Buy The View off of ABC. That'd be hilarious. So, yeah, do I think he would do it? He might. I don't know, guys. It'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? They said it won't be Musk's most significant purchase if he moves forward with buying MSNBC from Comcast in 2022. He bought Twitter from Twitter Inc. and altered its name to X. Rogan believed that free expression depended on the acquisition. I 100% agree with this. I think Elon Musk buying Twitter, and I said at the time, you cannot overstate how important this is going to be. Because Twitter, even though like normal people didn't use Twitter, even though grandma wasn't using Twitter, it had so much influence over the media and, everything, Hollywood, all of it. And him buying it was like the first domino got knocked over. And then once he bought it and he went in and he gutted it, then other tech companies saw they could throw their wokesters overboard and it would actually help their bottom line. But then he looked into it and he saw all the censorship that was going on. And it was coming from the Fed. The government was putting pressure on Twitter to censor. And then, Mark Zuckerberg admitted that, the government was putting pressure on him to censor, quote unquote, disinformation. And then just all the dominoes started to fall over. Right. And then just everything started cratering. Like this whole narrative that was being propped up by the mainstream media and social media. Basically, the powers that be wanted to control everything you consumed, everything you read, everything you listened to. And if it went against the narrative they were trying to promote, then they would ban you, kick you off the platform, censor you, deboost your content, deboost your websites. And I still think this is going on Google to some degree. I think they're still deboosting or shadow banning websites. So the rabbit hole goes pretty deep. And if Elon Musk did not do that and didn't blow the lid off of it, I don't know where we would be currently. I mean, we were living in a dystopian hellscape during the pandemic. It was bizarre. It was like, I'm like, are we in some communist country or what the hell is going on here? You weren't allowed to say anything. You weren't allowed to question anything. No platform. You couldn't say anything or have any doubts about the science or any of that stuff on any of the mainstream platforms. And then if you would go to another platform, they would try to take that platform down. It was insane. And now that he bought Twitter, it was like a light switch. And now all of a sudden, more than half the country is voting red, and the mainstream media is collapsing. And I think, historians, if we're allowed to look back at history and tell the truth, in decades to come, hopefully we will be, they will look at this as being, this is the moment or the beginning of the movement that ended the monopoly of the mainstream media and the people that control the mainstream media. Because this is when people started to realize that they're being lied to for many, many years. Anyway, that was a long ramble, right? Yeah. So, they're calling him a dragon believer, Joe Rogan, a dragon believer. That'd be kind of funny, but look, cable news is over. Reason has it. They said what comes next will be more fragmented, more decentralized, more authentic than the old legacy networks. And that's exactly it. I mean, you can get a talking head on YouTube or that green R place that you're not allowed to talk about, or a podcast or something that pulls in more views than CNN, than MSNBC. And this is why I think MSNBC is trying to be fair now, and they're like, oh, we're going to go to Mar-a-Lago and talk to Trump, everybody. Oh, yeah, we like a Trump. Yeah, we like Trump. Watch us, please. CNN, same thing. Oh, we're trying to be fair now, guys. We're trying to be fair. Some of their hosts are like, oh my God. And then The View, over on The View, like within, Sunny Hostin, within like a couple of minutes of her making disparaging remarks, she gets a thing from the lawyers like, you better read this statement on air. So like everything's changing, right? I mean, the jig is up. It's over. It's all over. They talk about how CNN was a massive gamble when it started, and it eventually paid off, though. 24/7 News paid off, and then Fox and MSNBC eventually came around. They said it's hard to imagine there being a news landscape without a CNN or whatever. And they said, well, it's going to happen pretty soon. Dylan Byers notes on X that just a week after the election, the network saw the lowest ratings, that'd be CNN, in the all-important 25 to 54 age group, where what broadcasters refer to as the demo. These are the working folks that have money to buy products that advertise during primetime hours. This is the moment when political news was breaking and developing at a hectic pace, when incoming president was putting together a new cabinet, and the whole thing cratered. It was a moment, in other words, when CNN should have been at the top of its game. Instead, it was warming the bench. Viewers had tuned out. It wasn't just CNN. After the election, MSNBC also suffered similarly low ratings in the demo. This all comes on top of years of decline for both networks as younger consumers cut the cord on cable TV, which is now the ancient stagnant technology that broadcast when CNN launched. Like the broadcast networks of the 80s, CNN and MSNBC still throw off a lot of revenue and they can't afford to pay well for top talent. Their anchors and commentators are still well known, but it's clear they're on their way out. They're on their way out. Gosh, that'd be weird. They said, yeah, younger YouTube and TikTok commentators sometimes make their points in just a few seconds with goofy graphics and wink-wink musical cues that no self-serious professional news broadcaster would ever employ. Podcasts have gone the opposite direction. Lengthy, discursive interviews that let subjects speak uninterrupted for minutes at a time and conversations that flow naturally. It's impossible in the tightly paced, commercially bound programming blocks of cable news. Plus, you're getting the whole story. Usually with a podcast, you're getting the entire interview. Whereas if you go on CBS News, you're getting a very edited version of that interview, right? And it's going to be whichever version fits the narrative. Are we trying to make this person look good? Are we trying to make this person look bad? Are we trying to, tantalize people? I mean, and that's how they cut this stuff. They said what comes after cable news will be weirder, much less centralized, much less bound to the old formats and assumptions about what makes for a high quality professional product. Yeah, it's just it. I mean, I'm seeing this too, and I've seen this for a while in the pop culture space. You've got outlets like The Nerdist, right? And you've got outlets like G4 TV, before they packed it in, where they had these ridiculously expensive cable TV looking sets. And they're getting their asses kicked by some neckbeard broadcasting out of his basement. But that's what the future looks like, right? I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, Joe Rogan, yeah, his podcast is huge, but he's still a guy in a chair with a microphone talking to a guest. And that's what people want. And a lot of people don't even watch the video version. They listen to the audio. And anybody can do that. So that's what the future of news looks like. Plus, people want it quick. They want it instantaneously. And that's what X is for. So maybe him buying, just putting it out there, maybe him buying something like MSNBC, it would be a good fit because you can do the talking heads, right? Just run it 24/7 with talking heads. And they might actually be people pulled from X to have their own shows on the MSNBC thing or whatever they wind up calling it. And then you actually go to X or check X for up to the minute, up to the second news, because that's where you're going to get it. You're not going to get it from the mainstream outlets. It's usually hours old, sometimes days old by the time the mainstream actually gets around to covering it. And it goes through all the channels versus like, here's a guy with his phone to like, hey, I'm at the scene of whatever is going on. Here it is. Here's what's actually going on. And so that is the future. The future of news is, I believe, X or platforms like X and citizen journalists. And eventually, we're going to have people that want to take control of that. Because, how it was back in the day, if you were a journalist back in the day, a lot of times you were a reporter / publisher, printing your own gazettes or whatever, and, giving them away or selling them or whatever you're doing. And it is kind of the same thing. And then eventually it became a reputable job, right? It became a career, profession. Then you had to have formal training for it and join organizations and all that. And we're just kind of going back to basics, I think, the town crier. So I don't know. That's my thought on it, but it's pretty interesting stuff, guys. I'm going to wrap this one up. There you go. What do you think? Should Elon buy MSNBC? That'd be hysterical. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.